What is up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is here. Looking at this pay-per-view, it's honestly overlooked in a way. The event was showcasing the future, Kofi, Dolph, Miz, McIntyre, Sheamus. I had a feeling of out with the old and in with the new. Funny enough, WWE never really did much with the future talent. While the guys reached the height, they never maintained their relevancy in the main event scene throughout the decade. Drew McIntyre is the only one who is actually a bona fide main eventer right now. Miz might be back though, who knows? Okay, let me take you back to 2009, specifically November. The attention throughout WWE was that this was the final Survivor Series. Vince felt like it fell behind or something, and compared to the other three major events, it was the worst in terms of buy rate. So 2009 was going to be the final one, and 2010 was going to be a totally new concept. But eventually in May of 2010, the fans, they wanted to keep Survivor Series intact, and Vince listened to them. He's like, you know what, let's keep it. And so that's what happened. The stars of old such as Taker, Triple H, HBK, Chris Jericho, and Batista were all going through their final full-time runs, which is sad to think about. Within a year, all those guys are gone. You'll notice the tag matches featured young talent in abundance. Both main events were triple threats featuring two main event tag teams, DX and Jericho, and it was centered on whether or not they were going to turn on each other in order to achieve championship glory. So get ready for a dose of SVR 2010, SVR 2011 nostalgia with this one. Here we go. Survivor Series 2009 was held in the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. on November 22nd, 2009. 12,500 were in attendance to witness Kofi's clutch performance. The buy rate for the events was 225,000, which was a huge, and I mean huge, drop from 08 by nearly 100,000. I don't know why. Maybe I do. Maybe it's because of Raw in 09. Because it's funny that TLC the next month actually eclipsed the buy rate by 3,000. And that's a new pay-per-view concept in itself. The theme song for the events was Get Through This by Arts of Dying, which, if you care, was one of the theme songs for Game Show NXT. Okay, this is the first time I watched this event in full. I actually watched the Kofi and the Triple Threat match about a year ago. So yeah, right now let's get into it. The first match was a Survivor Series elimination match. Team Morrison featuring Finlay, Matt Hardy, Evan Bourne, and Shelton Benjamin against Team Miz featuring Dolph Ziggler, Jack Swagger, Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus. At this point, the U.S. champion was really starting to come into his own. He was actually one of the best parts of 09-010 Raw to some. Like me personally, I thought he was pretty good during that time period. He was one of the most interesting things to look out for on Raw. The Trunks change in the title really helped him greatly. Dolph Ziggler was somebody who can potentially be something, but WWE wasn't serious about him yet. Jack Swagger, he was still a future champion at this point. They're like, oh, this guy, he's going to be something in a couple of months probably. Drew McIntyre, Vince McMahon saw something in him. He had a theme song that fits on an early 10s WWE game menu. Sheamus, he was embarking on the most bizarre push of the 2000s as it just came out of nowhere. Also, I just realized something. Every single one of those guys won a world title during this decade. On the other side, Evan Bourne was pretty exciting in the ring. There was doubt over whether or not WWE would use him to the best of his abilities due to his lack of character. Finlay, veteran's role. Matt Hardy was still kind of over with the fans, but in the back, by the looks of it, he was in the past. I remember he was fed up with the company and eating grapes on YouTube or something. It was so random, but I'm just glad he got over those issues at the time. Shelton Benjamin was still doing impressive things, but a push wasn't on the horizon, and John Morrison himself had a bright future. Okay, here we go. In the beginning, Bourne and Swagger started things off. Evan tried showing that speed beats strength, but was unsuccessful. Michael Cole was telling everybody that this is the future of WWE. Throughout the match, Ziggler tagged in, and he hits 20 elbows, only for the All-American getting tagged in, re-entering the match. Those two were working together as a cohesive unit, tagging in and out, but at a moment's notice, though, Bourne flipped the switch and tagged in Matt Hardy. This led to the very first elimination on Team Miz when Evan Bourne went airborne to send Ziggler to the locker room. Right then, Drew comes in and kicks the hell out of him before hitting the future shock DDT to make it 4-on-4. Then Finlay runs in there and tries to get a piece of Drew. He had issues with him on SmackDown. But the future of the WWE decided to tag in a fellow Irishman. I thought it was going to be a stiff affair, but Sheamus just bro-kicked him out of the match. That's it. I thought they were going to punch each other, blast each other. They're all going to be beaten up in red. That wasn't even the case at all. Matt enters the match, gets his ass beaten, misses in. The team was out to isolate Matt, tagging in and out. The idea was working for the most part, but Matt found a way to escape it, and Morrison was finally in. He had a little momentum on his side, was elusive, and when he had Swagger down on the mat, the other guys got involved. Soon enough, though, a second attempt worked out, and it was 3-on-3. The Miz didn't waste time running in there and bringing the fight. He was aggressive and rough compared to Morrison, who was fast-paced all around. Miz almost found himself eliminated by a blind tag because the gold standard was 100% on offense, and even though I knew the result, I still felt like there was a chance Miz was going to get eliminated. The original ref was on the outside, and I believe he was concussed due to Sheamus' knee accident. In the ring, Shelton's momentum fizzled out when Miz got external help. Boom, skull-crushing finale, and it's 3-on-2. The tides were shifting, the heels were in complete control. Matt did get some offense in, but the other guys had a little plan in place, and so he got eliminated. And so it's 3-on-1. Is Morrison going to do an HBK-esque comeback? Well, here we go. He struggled initially. The guys were wearing him down, tagging in and out. It was real bad. Miz had a big mouth on him and got his ass beat, but he was spared because Sheamus got the tag in. The IC champion was fighting against the odds. The crowd was finally waking up, and he got a bro kick to the knee. Sheamus had hit the Celtic Cross, and they were victorious. Decent match. I didn't really like it that much because, well, it's not that memorable. It's not like I'm going to think one day, oh, damn, that Morrison Miz tag was something. I got to watch it again. It wasn't all that interesting, but it wasn't bad either. It was above average a little. But yes, the story to come out of this is the fact that WWE had some future stars on their hands. More like 5 if you count the other guys. We all know what happened to them, but hey, at least they all won the world title. That's one thing. In the back, Kofi's team was strategizing, and they asked Christian to come in and give his thoughts, but he felt a little bit uncomfortable. He felt different to the guys in the back, and he thought, well, maybe it's because I'm the only one who was from ECW. They're like, huh, okay. And then he was like, oh, it's because I'm Canadian. They're like, nah, it's not that. And then he gave a rap about the match. Team Kofi Kingston looking for a fight.
4 of us are black and 1 of us is white. What's up?
That silenced everybody. Pure silence and awkwardness was in the locker room at the time. Eventually, they broke their silence and laughed it off. It was just a joke. The next match was between Batista and Rey Mysterio. Michael Cole was like, this is a match I never thought we'd see. The story of this one was simple. Ex-friends, that's all. Batista was out for himself, only in the Fatal 4-Way at bragging rights as expected, because it's every man for himself. But when Rey tried winning the title, he got offended and decided to destroy his best friend over it in somewhat hilarious fashion. Rey, despite the beating, decided to let bygones be bygones and let everything go. Hell, if he knew it was going to be like this, he would have let Batista win the title. That's how much this friendship meant to him. He even reminded Batista of Eddie, to which he responded, Eddie's dead. I look at it as this, like, Batista saw as Rey trying to get them back together, using Eddie as sympathy, he's trying to guilt him into it. Batista's whole demeanor, his characters, his promos, they took a turn for the better with the heel turn. He was seriously falling off in 2008 and 2009, and I seriously think he wasn't even top 5 before the turn, October, September of 2009. But after the turn, he slowly found a way back in. Batista's hometown of Washington, D.C., They were going to try to establish him as a heel, but he was going to be cheered regardless of the fact that he was going to rip Rey's head off. His facial expression here was telling to me, like, I don't want to, but I have to. Rey tried to keep that rage inside, but he just couldn't. The speed just wasn't working this time around, so he tried chopping the big tree down. He almost hit the 619, but was unsuccessful, and even when he did hit some aerial moves, it still wasn't enough to gain any substantial offense. That is until he hit 2 minor 619s before hitting an official one. He dropped the dime, channeled Eddie Guerrero, but failed. He wasted a little too much time showboating, honoring Latino heat, and sadly he never recovered from here on. Batista had a rough spear and the crowd was somewhat silent. He had a spinebuster, but one thing to note is that he didn't want to win. He didn't go for the cover, he wanted to hurt Rey Mysterio. Then he hit the Batista bomb. Some of the crowd cheered him while others booed, and he still wasn't satisfied. A second Batista bomb. The elbow pads were down and many in the crowd were chanting, one more time. He obliged for selfish reasons and the ref determined that Rey Mysterio couldn't compete, and so Batista was the winner. The crowd was pretty happy at the result. The medical staff went to check out Rey, but that wasn't it. The animal brought in a chair and observed the broken body of Rey Mysterio's. The crowd loudly chanted his name, Batista, and he grabbed Rey, put him on his shoulders, and this is where his former friend was trying to beg for him to just stop, but he didn't listen and hit another spinebuster on top of the chair. There was a hold harmless agreement, hence Batista's non-stop aggression. Rey can't sue him for all of this. That's why he was focused on just hurting him, that's all. Personally, I like this match. It established Batista as this remorseful, selfish, brutal human being. It's like the first episode of a heel Batista show. Like, if he could do this to his best friend, what in the hell can he do to others? That's what it was. That's the message I got from this one. Batista told the story with his expressions, his action. I liked it. It's not a wrestling classic or a clinic, but from a storyline standpoint, it's the best of the night. And in the back, Orton was plotting with the Survivor Series team. He was disappointed with how things were going. He expected Regal to be the next ECW champion. He wasn't. He expected to be standing by the future of how the business looks and acts like. He wasn't. He expected to be standing next to the current straight edge world champion. CM Punk responded with Kofi in Madison Square Garden, and there was tension there, but Randy righted the ship. They put their egos aside in order to win this match. There we go. The next match was the second Survivor Series elimination match. Team Legacy, Randy Orton, Rhodes, and DiBiase, along with Regal and Punk, challenged Team Kofi Kingston featuring R-Truth, Mark Henry, MVP, and Christian. Punk was not doing much around this time. Regal was winding down his in-ring career. Rhodes and DiBiase, especially DiBiase, were seen as potential main eventers. And I'm serious about DiBiase. Like, they thought he was the next big babyface or something. And Orton, well, he was crazy here. He was bald. He was insane. but he was going to start to turn into a babyface a couple of weeks later. Kofi, on the other hand, was on a huge push of sorts. The MSG moment was truly a memorable moment, and it was supposed to be the moment Kofi became a star. He got the crowd to loudly chant his first name, and if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. MVP was in a weird holding pattern. It felt as if they liked him but didn't want to push him just yet. It was confusing. Mark Henry, same thing. He was over along with MVP, and they could have won the tag titles. Hell, they could have gone even higher up the card. Christian, Mr. ECW, the expectation for many was that he was going to be thrusted straight into the main event after his ECW run. R-Truth, future talent, I guess? Not sure, though. Okay, the match itself started with Mark Henry and Randy Orton. Now, Matt Striker, I gotta mention, had some of the most random names for wrestlers throughout 2009 and 2010. Guess what he called Mark Henry?
The chef of Hell's Kitchen, Mark Henry.
Where the hell does he get these names? Anyways, early on things got wild. The ref lost focus of the action and Legacy got involved. Orton tapped Y or triangle and hit the RKO, and so he got eliminated. Team Orton was much more refined than Team Miz. They knew what to do, and sure, you can attribute that to experience. The action was much more interesting, and you can notice that in the first minute. R-Truth had a little momentum on his side, but Legacy, they were students of the game. Punk took advantage and hit GTS. And the little things, dragging his opponent to the other side in order to prevent a pinfall break. I like that stuff. Christian stepped up to the challenge, and as expected, he struggled with DiBiase and Legacy. Sure, he took some punishment, but with a sunset flip, he got rid of him. Regal entered the match, and he got his ass beat by Kofi. The young gun refused to be bullied by Regal, and he even went into a slugfest with the Englishman. Funny enough, he actually outsmarted the 25-year veteran with a tag to MVP, who comes in and kicks Regal to eliminate him. The crowd was hot. Rhodes went for a crossbody, but MVP nearly countered to another elimination. Christian then entered and slapped the living daylights out of Cody Rhodes. The action was back and forth. MVP enters, whoops his ass, does a little ballin' thing, and just as he was going to wrap it up, Orton provided a much-needed distraction for Cody to hit Crossroads. 1, 2, 3. The action didn't even slow down from there. Cody got rolled up, Michael Cole shouting, the crowd's cheering. Christian and Kofi decided to isolate Cody from here on, and they were trying to keep one another fresh. Cody found a little opening, but quickly ran into the kill switch, and it was 2-on-2. Captain Charisma was real quick, aggressive, whereas Orton, he's Orton. Slow, methodical pace. It got interesting once again real quick, though. Christian managed to weather the storm, but Punk distracted him, and it was RKO time. Nope. Christian actually hit the kill switch, and the fans were convinced that it was over.
Kill switch, connecting, he's got him, Christian's got him, he's going home.
But Punk broke the fall. The distraction ended up costing him, and Orton took advantage. So, it's Kofi, a 0-time champion against 2 former world champions, who, if you combine their stats, won a total of 10 world titles. Kofi wanted some of Orton, but he opted to tag in his former partner, CM Punk. Their battle showed that both knew each other like the back of their own hand. Orton was providing distractions for the outside, but it didn't work, and Kofi actually hit the SOS. Soon, though, things winded down, they slowed down, the crowd was pretty silent, and Punk began wearing Kofi down. It was like if Kingston wanted Orton the final boss, he's got to go through Punk. One thing that was certain, though, was that the fans were totally behind Kofi. Like, they did doubt whether or not he'd win, but they were supporting him. Every time he started a comeback, it wasn't working, and since the fans already seen Morrison fail to beat the odds, there was some doubt in their minds. But Kofi was resilient, took the punishment, kicked out. Then Punk got a little in over his head. He hit that corner knee, tried to enjoy the moment a little too much, but Kofi canceled and hit a back body drop. He found a little opening and hit a crossbody that nearly got him the W. From there, he began his comeback, but the fans weren't really buying into it yet. Orton once again distracted Kofi Kingston, and CM Punk took the opportunity to go for a roll-up. Unfortunately for him, Kofi countered with a roll-up of his own. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he got him. But wait, that's not it. He then hits a Trouble of Paradise on Orton himself to steal the victory. Within 10 damn seconds, he beat 2 former world champions. That is honestly ridiculously awesome. It was a fun-ass match. This is what the Survivor Series is all about. Like, when you look at the history of the show, it's to establish new stars. And that's what they did here with Kofi Kingston. He beat 2 former world champions within 10 seconds. And it ain't like 2 scrubs like Jack Swagger or Great Khali or something like that. He actually beat 2 guys that were formerly world champions about a month earlier. That's how good it was. Like, sure, CM Punk wasn't doing nothing, but he was the world champion about a month earlier. To see Kofi beat those 2 very quickly, it was assuring that those doubts of whether or not Kofi was going to become a star were just that. That is if you're looking at it from that time period, because we all know what happened afterwards. The match itself was much better than its previous counterpart. The crowd was really into it. The action was pretty memorable, and yes, this is one of those Survivor Series matches where probably thinking, man, I gotta watch it again. It's one of those ones. The next match was for the World Heavyweight Championship. Chris Jericho and the Big Show challenged The Undertaker for the gold. The story of this one was dissension. Since Big Show went rogue on Raw and received a title shot at Survivor Series, Chris Jericho got himself a title shot also, and so they put this match over their friendship, their partnership. The Undertaker was in midst his final run with the title, and you can check out this video for more. And Jericho was just another casualty in his eyes. This night, November 22nd, 2009, was actually the 19th anniversary of his debut. So the bell rings. Jericho decides, screw it, we're a team again. Taker hurt his groin. Big Show delivers a blow to the champion. Jericho used the microphone, and it was basically spam. Then this moment happened.
Go back to Toronto. I'm from Winnipeg, you idiot.
Jericho stuck to their game plan. Jerry Lawler actually discussed the moment, and soon they made a mistake and Taker capitalized. The problem with this, though, was even if he found himself on offense, he had to multitask, Big Show's down, Jericho's flying his way, but eventually the mental mastermind, Stryker coined that nickname, found a way to superplex The Undertaker. He was very smart, intelligent, and even when he failed to hit the lion salts, he had the walls in the back of his pockets. He had enough strength to drag Taker to the middle of the ring, but Big Show walked in and chokeslammed him. Show tried doing the same to the champion, but The Undertaker countered into a DDT. His action was pretty limited because of the knee injury, and it was Y2J and Undertaker who were doing most of the work. Chris Jericho tried taking advantage of the moment, but both men kicked out. Things got worse for Jericho when Chris accidentally clocked his partner with the gold. The Undertaker then had momentum on his side and attempted the last ride, but Chris Jericho had the title in hand. That wasn't enough, though. He mocked the champion and tried the tombstone, but it was countered into Taker's own. Big Show runs in and KOs him, almost wins the title, but Jericho's there to break the fall. The tensions reached a boiling point, and Big Show KO'd Chris. He pulled the straps down, signaling for the chokeslam, but it was countered into Hell's Gate, and he ended up tapping out. Not bad. Was it memorable? I don't know. Maybe for you, but the problem with this one was the fact that Big Show suffered an injury. His action wasn't memorable. It ain't his fault, though. That's one thing I should know. But yes, a decent match. Probably the third or fourth best match. Depends on what you think. So yeah. Backstage, The Miz was bragging about the title victory, claiming that they're revolutionizing the industry. Drew claimed that tonight everyone's seen what Vince McMahon saw along. Sheamus thought it was almost too easy, and since everybody's scared of facing him, he'll bring the competition to them. Funny enough, the next night on Raw, Jesse Ventura gave Sheamus a huge opportunity, ended up winning him the WWE Championship. The Miz ended the promo shouting that he's awesome, with the fans following along in the arena. The next match was the third Survivor Series elimination match of the night. Michelle McCool captains the team, featuring Layla, her partner, Alicia Fox, who had just debuted a couple of weeks earlier, Jillian Hall, who wasn't really doing much and was actually the Divas champion a couple of months earlier, and I don't even remember this, and Beth Phoenix, who was going to turn into a babyface real soon, against Team Mickie James, just broken up with John Cena and sent to SmackDown. Her team featured Gail Kim, who I should know, I don't remember a single thing she did during this run other than the Daniel Bryan thing. It's not her fault once again. It's obviously their fault because they don't do much with talent. Eve Torres, once again, she was just dancing around, the Raw guest host or whatever. She would soon become an actual diva. Kelly, once again, same thing as Eve Torres, and Melina, who was the Divas champion. Like I said, the Divas division in 2009 wasn't that noteworthy compared to 2008's. One thing to note is that Michelle McCool is going to begin her reign of terror very soon, and I will dive into that entire story in the near future. Layla and Kelly started things off. Dropkick from Layla. She was pretty persistent in her efforts to get rid of Kelly. Kelly, though, made a comeback and had a leg drop of sorts to get rid of Layla. The commentary team, especially the King, were drooling over the Divas. Things started to pick up when Gail and Michelle entered the match. The action was back and forth for a couple of seconds before McCool caught Kim with the Styles Clash, or as she likes to call it, the Faith Breaker. Now, let me stop here. I remember some were calling her out saying that she stole a move or something. AJ Styles even had to address this in an interview back in 2009. There it is. Anyways, Jillian entered. Stryker called her the Jazzy Jezebel. He always had a nickname for everyone. Jillian tried going for a little corner move, but Eve blocked, had a sloppy sunset flip, and she was out. She quickly met Beth Phoenix, though, and was eliminated. Kelly also out. So the captain decided to enter. She brought the fight. Sure, Beth was countering a couple of things, but she managed to get her shots in and perform the crucifix to eliminate the Glamazon. Since she was a sore loser, she blasted the newest SmackDown star. So Michelle and Alicia on one side against Melina and Mickie on the other. Alicia Fox taunted Melina and bounced James around. She went for a bridge, but Mickie locked her in a guillotine of sorts, and this led to Alicia placing Mickie on the top rope, where she went for a Thesz press to eliminate her. McCool was impatient and ran in there with a vendetta. Mickey struggled to even get an ounce of offense. Melina got the fans to get behind James, and just when Michelle realized that the tag was imminent, she blasted Melina. Her efforts, though, were unsuccessful, and a couple of seconds later, Melina lashed onto McCool. Right out of the gate, she was unstoppable, facebuster. She was fast, elusive, but Michelle McCool had to rely on hair pulling to find a little advantage. She delivered a clubbing blow, a belly-to-belly, and it still wasn't enough. This stressed her out, and so she was about to attempt something when Melina rolled her over and won the damn match. There were some botches here and there, but it just comes with the territory. I mean, the Divas of then, many of them weren't great wrestlers. Also, the match was so damn quick as expected. But hey, it wasn't terrible. That's one thing to note. It wasn't terrible. Like, oh, this sucks. I actually enjoyed some of the action in the match, I wish Gail, Kim, and Michelle competed a little longer, They had some good action there. Melina, she was exciting in the ring once again. Yeah, this one, like I said, it's not terrible. There were some botches here and there, but it's probably the weakest match of the night. Backstage, Todd Grisham interviewed Batista about the Rey Mysterio incident, and he's like, I embarrassed Rey Mysterio.
He was embarrassed tonight, wasn't he? Well, I was embarrassed for him.
And the main event, D-Generation X challenged John Cena for the WWE Championship. This is what everyone's waiting for. For all the flack DX received during this run, one thing that I can certainly say is that their matches are pretty good to be on Raw, SmackDown, or pay-per-view. The story of this one, win, lose, or draw, DX remains, and if anything, Shawn and Triple H wanted the title to be in the DX camp, a part of D-Generation X. They didn't care if it was the other guy that won it, as long as it was with DX. Cena, though, thought otherwise. Hornswoggle, he was in the build-up for a bit. He was trying to join DX. He's engaging in gimmick infringement. It was some wacky stuff like this.
I saw a leprechaun come in here.
No.
Oh, you stashed at him, Cena. Get him.
Hornswoggle!
I beat you. We all beat each other. We beat each other all the time.
Way to go!
John Cena debuted new colors, orange. It gives me 2010 SVR 2011's vibes all around. And is it just me, or is Orange John Cena the toughest in kayfabe? Might be. Anyways, the bell rings. Everybody's like, DX is going to jump Cena and then fight, right? Wrong. Shawn Michaels super kicked the hell out of his best friend. The crowd went crazy. Cena was at a loss of words. The commentary team were yelling and screaming and shouting in excitement. And Shawn Michaels basically lied about everything previously. DX will try to win the title. Doesn't matter who wins it. We'll deal with Cena and then ourselves. Lie. That moment in itself, to me, is the most shocking start to a match from the 2000s. If there is a more shocking moment, please comment it down below. And no, I don't want to hear Brock versus Kofi. Cena managed to weather the storm with HBK, and the commentary team still couldn't believe it. With Triple H out of the way, Shawn Michaels struggled. Cena even almost hit the AA, but HBK countered into a DDT. And Michaels, following this, decided to execute his game plan, target the knee. Figure 4 was locked in. And Triple H was nowhere to be found. Cena went through excruciating pain, but managed to counter the hold for only 2 seconds. Back and forth, right hand, left hand, chop, boo, yeah. This transitioned into the shoulder tackles, but Michaels had them scouted. He took down Cena over the top rope, and then he thought, why not throw him through the announce table? Cena almost AA'd him, but Triple H from out of nowhere pulled away his DX partner. Michaels clotheslined Cena away when Triple H hits a spine buster on his tag team partner through the announce table. What goes around comes around. That super kick spot was so damn good that they did another replay to show why Triple H hit that spine buster. In the ring, the champ brought the fight, but a well-rested Game was able to hit another spine buster. Like Matt Striker said, it was 2 matches in one. Cena versus HBK, Cena versus Triple H. Mr. C Nation lacked any offensive moves or strikes during this part of the match, as Triple H basically had free reign to do as he sees fit. Eventually, he made a comeback, catapulted Hunter to the turnbuckle, but he managed to rebound with a clothesline. They got into a slugfest, boo, yeah, boo. John fought back, hit the shoulder tackles, and it was time for the 5-knuckle shuffle. The AA, though, wasn't to be seen, as HBK came in and sent the champ right into the steel post, and DX decided to fight each other for the first time in a long time. It was some fast-paced, energetic back and forth. The crowd was popping. Triple H had momentum on his side. Pedigree was unsuccessful, and Shawn went up top elbow. Nope. Cena runs in, hits the leg drop on nobody, and HBK actually hits the elbow this time around on him. Triple H tosses him out and quickly finds himself into the SCF. Slowly, Triple H was dragging himself to the ropes. Michaels, though, emerged from somewhere and locked in the crossface. Despite the struggle, Cena lifts him over his own shoulders, only to drop him and lock him in the STF. Intense, dramatic stuff. The crowd was totally into it. The commentary team probably more so. It was like the 5th gear of the match. HBK reached the ropes, and after recovering, hits the sweet chin music. Triple H received one also, but this was very beneficial to the game because he landed on John Cena. 1, 2, nope. It took the referee a couple of seconds to notice the pinfall, and let's go Cena. Cena sucks chance engulfed the Capital One Arena. It was fun stuff. After both men recovered, boom! Attitude adjustment. Michaels was stirring on the outside and managed to find the will to re-enter the ring, and at this moment, both men tried crawling to the game. They covered him, and Mike Chioda was confused but went through it, but he kicked out. Michaels and Cena lifted each other up. He shoved the champ looking for a super kick, but failed and ran into a pile driver. Nope. Cena catches him. Triple H notices and tries to hit the pedigree, but for the third damn time, Michaels hits the sweet chin music. Once HBK turns around, he's on the receiving end of an attitude adjustment, and he had a bumpy landing because he landed on his DX partner, Triple H. 1, 2, 3. Damn, that was something. Definitely match of the night. It turned the night from decent to good. I mean, it started off with a bang and finished off with a bang. What more could you possibly want? 5 minutes? I mean, a title change would have blew the roof off of the damn place. Also, I love that story, Shawn Michaels was always out for himself. He doesn't care about teamwork, and time again throughout his 21-year career, he's shown it. Jannetty, Diesel, Hogan, Cena himself. It didn't matter if his mother stood next to him during this match. He would have super kicked her. Triple H was angry about this the next night, but that's a whole other story. And when watching matches like this, I feel a sense of excitement. Like, as good as the match is today, the crowd isn't there. They enhanced the match and then some. HBK, he got a hat trick of sweet chin music over his DX partner, and Cena only got one. He managed to overcome the odds again. So yeah, this is definitely match of the night for me. So damn enjoyable, and I suggest you watch it if you haven't. Cena and Triple H, they always had some good triple threats, along with Edge, along with Orton. Yeah, there were some fun matches there. This one, though, it's probably behind only the Edge triple threat match. And that's Survivor Series, The first match was decent, but it wasn't, memorable. They did show that Sheamus, Miz, and Drew were going to probably become stars, so there's that. The second match, I liked it for the storytelling. Batista, he just took a 180 turn. He became this vile human being that only cares for himself and himself only. The third match, very fun. It was a star-making performance for Kofi Kingston, and they should have followed up on it. It's a damn shame. Fourth match, The Undertaker. I liked the match, but it wasn't, amazing. I thought it was decent enough. With Big Show's injury, they did what they could, so there's that. Fifth match, Michelle McCool. That match was kind of weak, but I liked some of the action, so there's that. And the main event, bona fide match of the night. When you put these three in the ring, it's not going to go bad. It's not going to go bad at all. It kicked up into the highest gear near the end, and it was just so damn awesome. It's worth it to watch this match. That's one thing for sure. If you could handle Cena winning, so there's that. Overall, the Survivor Series is often overlooked, and with bad reason, to be honest. Maybe it's because they didn't follow through with these stars. Maybe that's why, if Kofi became the world champion the next year, perhaps it will be looked at more fondly. Who knows? Yes, this is a highly underrated Survivor Series, and I think it's in the top 10. Yeah, it has to be in the top 10. That's one thing that I believe. So yeah, what did you guys think of this event? Please comment down below. And that's it for this video. Make sure you hit a pedigree on the like button and perhaps the sweet chin music on the subscribe button. Peace. I'm out.